So, Diego.
I thought the two of you got along better than what you're getting along tonight.
No, we get along
We are
fine.
getting along.
We love each other.
I love you, Diego.
I love you too.
Oh, I love my whole family.
The way you love is by arguing.
We
I
aren't
just like
arguing.
I just like to
we
put
like
her
to
down.
tease each other. He teases me and I tease him.
Yeah, well,
It's
I
our
have
little
heard
dynamic.
him criticize you on several occasions, and I have not heard you say negative things about him. Okay, it's fair about him, my eyes.
Can I just really quick, just wait right where you, just let me run up and get some
Will you
eyedrop.
sit down and eat?
No, just give me 1 second. Just keep eating. I
have
want
to
to take
see
care of your
her.
eyes, okay?
To see if she'll fuss over me a little less.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Everybody's personality is different, sweetheart. Okay? I happen to know men, and some young men in my family, that hug me and kiss me and are very affectionate.
He can be. Okay, now we have one.
Towards like girls
Good
that
girl.
are like
Good,
15 and
sweetheart.
16.
Now I'm going to keep it right here in case
Thank
you
you.
need it again. This
It's
will help
okay.
with, this is relief for redness and irritation. There's Kleenex right here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sit down with and eat your dinner with
All
us.
right, okay.
She has things that she particularly enjoys.
Oh yeah?
It's her view.
Me.
It's your personality.
What things do you imagine I
Well,
enjoy
what we're talking about right now. You enjoy what you're just doing and saying.
about being nurturing and
Yeah, and
taking
about
care of people?
whatever it is that you said that, you know,
Mhm.
everybody's different.
Mm-hmm. You're right,
You know, we
Melissa.
can't make another person be the way we think they ought to be or the way we are.
Yes, that's true.
God only knows there's enough negativity in the world.
Annie and
around.
Tricia, when they were school children and they were both in Catholic school, Patricia was really the one that was the angel, and she always did well in school, and Annie was more rebellious.
Right, they definitely had,
Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
they definitely had titles.
Mm-hmm.
Of one devilish,
The other
and you
angelic.
never knew what she was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
She was more interesting.
That's our grandmother, right?
She was a little more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And Tricia was very good, did what she was supposed to do, and you know, so they were really two opposites, complete opposites. I'm not saying Patricia never did anything wrong, but if you compare her to Annalisa, you know,
Right.
and Elisa just, I don't know, she was a real handful
Mm-hmm.
to handle, you know. I didn't know how to handle, I didn't know how to discipline, I didn't know what to do.
Right. What?
Well, you didn't when you first had.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's difficult at first
And I
establishing
was
a
very naive, I knew nothing
routine.
about it, you know.
Yeah. Oh, imaginably.
We got Kleenex?
There's
Oh,
Kleenex
thank
right
you,
here.
thank you.
I left a pad for you.
So,
So you had a tough time disciplining
with
Annie.
him,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
he had a very, very strong personality, very
Yeah.
domineering personality.
Mhm.
He was not a bad man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean that. Just,
He was strict with the girls though, right?
he what?
Was Hal strict with the girls?
More than strict.
Yeah. That's what I
Okay.
remember you telling
Because
me.
he was repeating what his father did to him.
I guess these days it's all about how your parents raise you. You know, what did that earlier by the pool? We were talking about how some kids' parents raise them, you know, with their kind of racist mentality, and they can be, you know, a certain way towards a certain race. You know, being raised that way. It's not. It doesn't even depend on the on the person. It depends on how they're raised, you know, and what way
Yeah,
they're
he
raised.
got it and he was imitating it.
Because grandmother, when me and Genevieve were very young, was very strict. Like, she's loosened up a lot in the past 10 years, but when me and Genevieve were little Annie, you know,
Who is that?
Annie, your daughter, our grandmother.
Annalisa, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lisa has a strong personality.
She does.
It's that Scorpio moon, dude.
You're so funny
No, it's
about the
true.
astrology.
It's
What did
true.
she do to the two of you that upset you?
She, like, beat me one time.
Corrected you?
Yeah, listen to
Did
Diego.
did Can I have another
No,
one?
I had this problem. Well, listen
Absolutely.
to
Let
this.
me get you one that's nice
When I
and
was,
warm.
this will actually make you laugh because now it's been so long that it's kind of funny. I had this like problem with my ears where I had all these wax in them, right? Like my ears had a lot of wax and I couldn't hear a lot. So I was, you know the way her house is on top of that hill? Annie's house?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were walking down that hill when I was really young, and this car was behind
You're very
me.
welcome, Vanilla.
And I guess I just couldn't hear it, and I was walking ahead of her, and she got really pissed because this car could have hit me, but it didn't. So, and it was just because I couldn't hear it because I had this weird problem with my ears.
I
where
remember
had too much,
this too after it
and
happened.
she took me back to the house and just like beat me. And then like
Annie beat you?
yeah, she did.
Tell me how she beat you.
It was in the 90s, you know, that's so long ago. Like now, I don't even remember.
Well,
She
wait a
got
minute.
really pissed at me.
The word beat, there's 3 different or 4 different ways of saying when somebody physically,
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I was a little kid. I mean, it wasn't like
but
horrible.
when you say beat me, it sounds bad.
Or it does sound bad, but I love Annie. So, I mean, I love my whole family.
We
you know?
all love her, and we know what she's been through,
Mhm.
and so we forgive her. And the
Mhm.
easiest way for us to talk about these experiences and these hardships that we went through as children, because I also went through hardships with her as a child,
Probably
is
more
with
than me.
humor and
Because you
with
were always
laughter.
with Alexander, and Alexander's actually like her son. So when you guys got
Right,
no problems,
it's
and
true.
you guys
It
are
was
basically
bad. It was bad. There were some very bad episodes, but Diego, I handle it much in the same way you do. It's really interesting to see
Well,
how
just
you
that-
process it with laughter and kind of like with a sort of lighthearted, like we both know, both of us, that that's not really who she is.
Exactly.
That
And like
it's
at this point, we've just grown to have such a philosophical mentality about all these situations we endured as young children. You know,
yeah.
even with mom, you know. Now we see her and she's just so vulnerable, you know, dealing with what she's dealing with. And like, I had this dream I was breastfeeding last night. I missed my babies. And we can remember her when she got really mad and, you know, the fish hose incident. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the fish.
And
I
just,
was
like,
there for that.
It was
yeah.
pretty bad.
It was pretty bad.
But I
I
don't know.
know,
I
and
just
the
look at it
buttons when
now.
you were in preschool. I'll never forget. You
I
must
know, I
have been.
hated wearing like
You can't have
fancy
been,
shirts.
but you can't have been. You
I
were
hated
younger.
fancy shirts.
You were younger than my daughter, and you hated wearing buttons.
And like I hated collars.
And now when I
I
think
hated
about
just
it,
collars and buttons.
my daughter refuses to wear things left and right. She's very fussy. I mean, you were a really good kid.
Yeah, I was a
And
good
when I
kid.
think about what happened, because at the time I was about 9 years old and I didn't, or I was like 8 or 9, I didn't really understand that you were just this little baby. Now that I have my own kid, I remember that incident and I remember how mom reacted, and I'm at a loss. I don't understand how she could have responded in that way, because you were only like 3 years old, but it was picture day.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah.
And you were refusing to wear a shirt that had buttons.
It was like 97 or 98.
And she had a really bad abusive episode with you. And I think about my own situation now that I'm a parent, and someday you'll be a parent too. And my daughter, yes, she can be very annoying, she can be really demanding, she can, you know, lay into me and have temper tantrums, and of course the fact that her father's had a hard time with discipline doesn't help. But I would never think to respond to a difficult situation like that with her in that way, using physical force and violence. Because I mean, you were 3 years old, Diego. You were this cute darling, and you know how darling you were.
I know, I was pretty tricked.
And now when I think about it, I just think,
What?
just what happened was he refused to wear buttons.
Yeah, I
a
really
button
didn't like
shirt
I didn't like
on
collars
picture day
and
when
buttons.
he was 3 years old, and
I
my
just
mother slapped him around
Didn't
because
like
he
shirts
wouldn't.
like that.
He wouldn't put, and he was crying and he was really upset.
Yeah.
And when she dropped you off at school that day, she actually told your teacher. She said, "I had like a bad episode with him this morning. So if he's a little off behavior, like she
and that
knew."
picture, I'm like I still.
I know you
it's still
you
my fucking
snap
photo
back.
album. Yeah.
You snap back because that's who you are. You're a person that's gonna snap back. You're like me. You and I, we're like elastic together. That's how come you're going to be successful, is you're going to be this elastic, which I sort of pull back and then catapult forth into a successful future.
Is this my
Yes?
ring?
You gave it to me
Can
when
I
I
have it
graduated
back,
from high
please?
school. Of course you may.
When I die, you can have it.
All right.
Can
But
I
you know
enjoy it until then?
Of course you can.
But I have to make a note of it.
But I have been enjoying it for 5 years, and I'm very attached to it. And now that I'm divorced, I actually wear it on my ring finger because I want to ward off men. So I don't know what I'm going to do without that ring. I'll just be totally hopeless without it. But I will give it back to you if that's what you want.
This has a very important significance. It is not my ring.
I know
It's not like
it was Madame Shanghai checks. I know.
Oh, is this the original of mine?
You gave it to me, and I got it reinforced and fixed because it was an investment for me. The ring meant a lot to me.
It fits tighter than I used to.
I know. I think you should give it.
Because you changed it.
You gave it to her at her
It doesn't fit
graduation.
tighter.
Abuelita.
You gave it to me at
Abuelita,
graduation.
no te
She's taking
preocupes
it
about
back.
the
You know what they
ring,
call that?
abuelita.
They call that Indian giving.
Darling, if I gave it to you, it's because I love it.
Oh, Lisa.
But the significance of it hit me tonight.
Here, wear it for tonight.
I think
Wear it on your
I
pinky.
think you guys didn't understand. It's almost like I didn't realize the significance at the time, and now that years
I totally
put it
understand.
back on there.
Are you sure? Oh, Lisa, you put it on me.
There is a very strong thing there. Okay? Very strong.
And I love it, and that's why I wear it here, is because I feel like if there's any commitment of my heart and my emotional energies, it's a commitment to my family and to the people in my family that I love the most. And so when I wear it here, and it protects me from, men and stuff like that, other people that might be emotional drains, it's like it makes me think, how perfect, because this is something that came from my great-grandmother, who's just like my beloved, my dear, my
That's a
consentida,
beautiful concept.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm really married
that's
to
what
my
I felt.
family right